Hello, everyone. Whether you're watching us on screen or tuning in via podcast, welcome to XRAISED, where knowledge meets inspiration in the intricate dance of industry evolution. I'm your host, Miles, and I'm here at your favorite business brain meets human heart kind of show, where I'll sit down with a game changer who's transforming lives across industries. Now, every so often, we meet someone whose work reaches far beyond strategy sessions or boardrooms, someone who's on a mission, not just to lead, but to liberate. So, we've invited one of those rare leaders whose career began in the discipline of physical defense, but evolved into something far more impactful: psychological liberation. From training police and military forces in handling extreme mental stress, he shifted gears to help people in a different kind of battlefield, one inside the mind and often inside the home. Armed with a degree in psychology, trained by none other than the co founder of NLP, and guided by an unrelenting desire to expose and heal narcissistic abuse, he created the Spartan Life Coach, a groundbreaking multimedia program for survivors looking to reclaim their power and peace. A powerhouse in a world of trauma recovery, a beloved mentor to many, he's taking his mission even further by being the international ambassador of the Star Network Foundation. So we're bringing you the remarkable Richard Grannon. Hi, Richard.
Hi, Miles. Thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you for gracing our show. It's genuinely a pleasure having you here at X Rays. And we know you're preparing for something big, Scars to Stars Day 2025. And today we want to dive into your journey, your philosophy, and what this incredible event means to people all around the world. And you've become a powerful voice across multiple platforms in the global conversation around narcissistic abuse, Richard. So let's rewind a bit. What got you here today? I mean, what was the turning point that led you from teaching resilience in high stress environments to becoming a leading advocate for psychological recovery and empowerment?
Um, life experience. As things went on, I realized that if I wanted to have the highest leverage, efficiency, and effectiveness in helping people to defend themselves, then I needed to go upstream of physical violence to where the source of physical violence emits from, which is, of course, psychological pathology. And so I started to study trauma and psychological pathologies in that way. Um, as you say, mainly with the intention of trying to liberate people. I've had a strong core value around independence and liberation and helping people to try to live a life in a way in which they're uninterfered with and they can maintain their own personal sovereignty.
Mhm. So, life experience, which is very powerful and influential, Richard, from battlefield strategy to emotional sovereignty. Honestly, not the usual career arc we see on LinkedIn. But I guess when purpose calls, it doesn't care much for conventional titles, does it?
No, and I was lucky. I've been very very lucky in my life. At the moment at which I switched from self defense, physical self defense to emotional self defense, I was living in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, and
Oh,
a lot of my friends were also engaged with martial arts like
yeah.
Pencak Silat, and the crossover between the spiritual, psychological, and the physical application of self defense. So I was in a good environment for it.
Mhm. Now, Richard, you're not only a thought leader in trauma recovery, but also the international ambassador of the Star Network Foundation. And Dr. Jamie himself says you've impacted countless journeys to healing, including his own. So tell us, what does Scars to Stars Day mean to you on a personal level, and what inspired you to take the stage at this year's event?
I think the very concept of scars to stars speaks to my own personal journey of recovery, of experiencing abuse and being traumatized and being damaged. And I carry those scars
Mhm.
and being able to transcend the pain of those experiences to move to something better, to be able to lead people and help people to do the same thing and to follow the same path. It's really at the core of what I'm all about. So yes, I'm very excited to be doing the Stars to Scars Day this year, and I'm looking forward to meeting more people and making connections with good people and hopefully doing some good.
Uh-huh. Well, despite your undesirable part of your journey, Richard, it's just so beautiful how something as simple as, showing up, truly showing up, can change the trajectory of someone's healing because you're not just giving talks here, you're handing people the flashlight maybe to find their way out of the dark, which you've experienced and you don't want for sure to, I mean, for them to experience as well. These are real legacy work and dedication. And the theme of Scars to Stars Day centers around trauma informed care, something that feels deeply baked into your approach. How does this framework reflect your core values as a coach, speaker, and mentor? And for those attending who are still on the path of healing, what message are you hoping to leave them with?
This is something I've discussed at length with Dr. Jamie. I'm very grateful to have that relationship with him,
Yeah.
uh, where I can learn from him. I think the most important thing is that people walk away from the experience feeling heard and feeling understood and feeling believed. The notion of things being trauma informed, for me, the most important elements of that is it's focused around the experience, the subjective lived experience of the person who's experienced the trauma, instead of a top-down authoritarian dogmatic approach in which some supposed authority tells the person what they've experienced and tells them how they will recover. We listen, we say, okay, so how is this manifesting for you? And we start with the client's experience and then work backwards rather than starting with our supposed expertise and working forward. So that's one part of this project that resonates very deeply with me.
And I love that, Richard. Listening and being compassionate. Trauma informed is a way of seeing people fully by hearing and, as you said, understanding them instead of judging them by what they've survived. And who couldn't use a little more of that perspective in business, life, or even rush hour traffic, right? And I want to touch on the Star Network's mission, Richard, which is as bold as it is compassionate, supporting people impacted by CPTSD, providing community programs like Tarnon. We've been discussing that. I've been discussing that with Dr. Jamie and working hard to prevent narcissistic abuse around the world. Your voice and their platform feel like a natural fit. How do you see this collaboration shaping the global dialogue around mental health, trauma, and recovery?
I think when you have different people coming together. When I used to teach martial arts, everybody who came to me, I would see them as an individual and I would help them to develop their own martial art style.
Yeah.
Similarly, with coaching and therapy, it must be for you. It must be as unique to you as your own thumbprint. Also, when people come together, like with me on my own, I have a certain energy, a certain shape. Dr. Jamie has a certain energy and a certain shape. And then when we come together, we create something fresh, we create something different, and you can't predict what it's going to be. And that's exciting.
Right.
That's the beautiful, spontaneous part of it. And I think what it's going to allow us to do is to keep ourselves firmly grounded, one foot in proper clinical practice and adhering to the correct protocols that keep everybody safe. As
Ah,
Dr. Jamie says, he wants people to feel neuro safe. And I really deeply agree with that. But also having an open mind, another foot in an area that says, okay, the world is changing, we're evolving, and it's evolving rapidly. And we need the space for new ideas and new concepts and new strategies to come through. So that's what I'm hoping and what I believe the Scars to Stars trajectory will be.
yes. Now that's what I call a powerful partnership. Our purpose meets platform. You're leading the charge in the Global Healing Initiative through your expertise, Richard, and the discipline you learned along the way, especially from martial arts. And finally, May 16th isn't just a date, it's a global moment of awareness and healing offered free to the world during Mental Health Awareness Month. It's so perfect. So, for those attending Scars to Stars Day 2025, what's one piece of wisdom, Richard, or encouragement you would offer as they begin turning their scars into strength and ultimately into stars?
I would say, thankfully, we can't see into the future. So, in all due humility, we can only know what it is that we already know. No matter how dark things seem now, or how limited things seem now, or how much pain you're in, you don't know how much better you cannot know how much better life can be in the future. So I would leave people with that message of hope.
Yeah, wow. That's the kind of message, very short, but would make a big difference. That doesn't just land, it lingers. And that's the goal, right? Leave people a little lighter, a little stronger, and maybe even a little more hopeful than they were before. And this has been such a meaningful conversation, Richard. Today, we unpacked just in a very short time the art and science of emotional resilience, from surviving psychological manipulation to reclaiming power and peace. And with the hope, you're hoping for people. You're giving them more than tools, you're giving them permission to rebuild. So thank you so much, Richard, for your clarity, your passion, and your mission. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate your time. To our amazing viewers and listeners, Scars to Stars Day 2025 happens on May 16th, and it's free for anyone in the world who needs hope, healing, or just a space to feel seen, heard, because right here, no one gets turned away. Head on to scarstostarsday.org to register and learn more. That's it for today's episode of X Rays. Thank you guys for tuning in, for keeping us on the air, and for choosing conversations that actually matter. Until our next one, this has been your host, Miles. Stay focused and inspired with X Raised.